We had a lot of nipple conversations.
I do think they're a little too...
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Animators React.
Couch.
I'm joined on the couch by the directors of K-pop Demon Hunters.
I'm Maggie Kang. I've been in the industry for over 20 years. I've worked on Shrek Forever After, one of the Kung Fu Panda movies, Lego Ninjago, so many sequels.
I'm Chris Appelhans, the other director and writer on K-pop Demon Hunters. Similar to Maggie, we're so old, we've been around forever. I worked on Monster House, Coraline, Fantastic Mr. Fox. My first film I wrote and directed was called Wish Dragon.
In this episode, we're gonna dive into some of the technical challenges behind K-pop Demon Hunters, the inspirations.
Every pixel of the frame was touched by hand. $1 million a minute.
What?
It's gonna be a journey, so sit back, relax, grab a bowl of some ramen.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
What got you into animation? Where are movies that you watch like, this is awesome, I love this, I've watched it 100 times?
I grew up with a dad who's like a total cinephile. He has a collection of like 30,000 titles.
Oh, wow.
It drove my mom insane. So I grew up watching like Kurosawa films when I was like 10 years old. Yojimbo is one of my ultimate favorites. I was blown away watching this film that is in black and white, but then feels so modern and feels comedic and almost like Looney Tunes. Characters are exaggerated, but they're still real.
Maggie and I really bonded around films like Kung Fu Hustle. I don't know if you guys know the scene where he tries to throw the knife at the lady. Maggie and I really bonded around this too, which is like having characters, even if they're your protagonists, that are just like very flawed and do stupid things. Every time I watch it, I'm like, it's so stupid, which is the highest praise.
I just saw examples of films juggling all these different tones that I loved, that I felt like couldn't exist in one thing. Chris and I bonded over just our love of Bong Joon-ho and The Host, which was another movie that my dad was like, we gotta watch this. It's like the number one movie in Korea. And so one Christmas we watched it and I was like, how is he able to like juggle the grief of losing a child, but then it goes into like physical comedy and they're like, they fall over. And so we were just really inspired by that.
Somebody like me, a kid from Idaho, so much of my filmmaking influences just happened to be Korean filmmakers. I just liked it and connected. When I saw The Host, I'm like, I can't believe you can do all these things.
So what are some of you guys' favorite animated films?
I mean, I feel like our influences, Sailor Moon and Cowboy Bebop. There's a movie that I want to shout out just because I don't think too many people know about it called The Tale of Princess Kaguya. It has incredible animation, slice of life, naturalism. If the aliens came to Earth and they're like, can you explain what's going on here? What are humans all about? I would just be like, just watch this.
I'd also like to just shout out Shrek 2.
Get it off! Get it off!
I mean, this movie is just taking risks constantly.
I look any different? You still look like an ass to me.
Probably the first like big animated movie that just broke like the whole like demographic thing.
Yes, there were no rules about who would go see it.
Animation was like, yes, this is it. And then we've now slowly like slipped back from this. There are things in this movie that would not fly right now.
Catnip. That's no mine. Hold on!
We used to go this far and we don't anymore.
I think people have their heads wrapped around how a live action movie is made pretty well. I don't think people really have their heads wrapped around how an animated movie is made. Could you guys take us on the journey from like the beginning of K-pop Demon Hunters through all the steps of production all the way up till now, where you guys get to now celebrate and enjoy the accolades of the final product?
For me, it was 7 years, and Chris, it was a little over 6.
The analogy is, you know, in Children of Men, there's that famous one where they're trying to carry the baby through the war zone up into safety. That's making an animated movie. You get your little baby in the screenplay, and then in storyboards, it can fall apart, it can die. The animation is where you can get to lighting. You light the character wrong, it can die.
And then you're like 7 years of building this up and carrying this baby to the finish line, and then it could just die.
Sounds like a fun job, huh?
Animation!
Hey guys, Christian here. One thing you might not know when watching one of our React episodes is that the chaos doesn't happen on camera. That's the easy part. It happens behind the scenes. We're dealing with multiple edit versions, exports, B-roll, movie clips, behind the scenes, VFX breakdowns, and sometimes special guest info, all at the same time. Someone needs the latest cut, or someone's pulling references, or someone's asking if this is the final file, and suddenly we're not just editing, we're searching. Most of the friction in our workflow isn't creative, it's where is that file? That's why I'm excited to introduce today's sponsor, Dropbox Dash. Dash is the AI teammate that understands your work. It helps teams find, organize, and share content, including images, videos, and more, all from one place so they can move faster and stay focused. The universal search bar is a killer feature that Dash lets you search across all of your connected work apps like Dropbox, Google Drive, Notion, Canva, Slack, and more. So instead of remembering file names and folders or which app something lives in, you just search by context. Where's this explosion? Dash can understand what you're looking for even if you don't remember what it's called. They also have these things called stacks, which are shared, project-based workspaces that are perfect for React episodes. You make one stack per episode and you drop everything in it. Edits, B-roll, movie clips, breakdowns, notes, exports, and everything else. Now the entire team, editors, producers, collaborators, can look at the exact same source. No version confusion, no hunting. Dash can also summarize files or answer questions across your content. Instead of digging through docs or threads, you can just ask Dash and get the context fast, which is all just to keep the momentum going instead of killing it. So if you or your team works in video content or post-production, or if you're just tired of your current file structure and spending more time searching than creating, then check out Dropbox Dash today by clicking the link in the description below. Thanks again to them for sponsoring. Now let's get back to the crazy process of animating K-pop Demon Hunters.
So what's the very first step?
The very first step is lying to a producer saying that you have an idea when you don't. Spent about a week trying to come up with a pitch and just matched weird ideas together that I was just mulling over in my head and came up with this weird K-pop Demon Hunters concept. Chris came on about 8 months later.
We had just had one conversation over coffee, and I said, okay, I love this idea so much. We could just tell. We had the same tastes.
And then we started writing it. And then you go into development. Sometimes it could be years or decades and you may never come out of it. You basically just keep working until you get a green light.
So your crew is getting a little bigger? Maybe there are 6 people on the show at that time?
I was doing storyboards because that's kind of the only way you could convey tone. I started to storyboard the very first airplane scene, which was there from the very beginning. And as I was storyboarding it, I was like, I'm trapped. I need to figure out so much in order to execute this scene. Character, comedy, action, music, choreography, fight choreography, mythology. I had a panic attack because I was like, how are we going to do this? And this is one scene. And every scene was kind of like that. It had so many different layers that you had to juggle.
The challenge I see with a film like this is you guys have to deliver pop star level choreography, but you have to animate it all. You have to deliver a pop star level music, and you have to direct it visually in these music videos that you're basically putting together here. Without a background in choreography and music, that seems like it'd be incredibly challenging to do.
Yeah.
It was a really neat experience to bring screenwriting and music construction together. Neither of us are huge lovers of musicals, sorry. We love some of them. The Broadway musical was sort of the thing we didn't want to do. We didn't want to be that sort of literal and sort of break into song thing.
We always pitched it as it's a musical, but not a musical, until we realized no, you're making a musical. The schedule was you had to figure out the music because without music, you couldn't storyboard because you need the final music to storyboard to, and then you couldn't animate, so it slowed down production, so we had to get the music done. And that was probably the most challenging part of this whole movie. All the music we say is it works on 3 different levels. It has to convey story, but also work on a pop level. And then there's always multiple meanings.
The thing it's supposed to be about and the thing that it's really about. Golden became this vessel for telling the audience a little bit about Mira and Zoe and where they came from. And then we found this concept of the song being a little bit of their anthem of we started as nobodies and now we're on top and we have one more level to go, which on the front of doing multiple things, that's a plot point. It's the golden honeymoon. That's the goal of the characters in the first 2/3 of the movie. So the song started to suddenly connect all of these needs that the movie had. And then obviously it becomes a vessel for Rumi to reveal to the audience her secret.
I mean, in my opinion, I think one of the reasons the songs are so successful outside of the film is because you guys managed to bring so much emotional importance to them inside the movie, so that when you listen to the song, you're not just listening to a song, you're queuing up all this journey that the movie has given you at that point. I feel like on a functional level, in a way, music scenes and action scenes kind of share a lot of similarities in that, like, it's easy to do noise and spectacle, but to advance the story through those scenes and to advance characters through those scenes is very challenging, but when done correctly, like, hits so hard. So you have a green light on the movie, you have the music mostly figured out. What's the next step?
You crew up, you get about 10 to 12 story artists, and then you try to create the movie in storyboards.
And you have the entire movie laid out end to end with you guys or whomever doing voice acting, and it's all temp voice, all temp sound, all temp music.
But that is the movie. It really is like...
You now have a living thing, and it's one cut of the movie.
Are these your drawings?
No, these are Bridget Underwood.
It's very animated.
Yes.
Are the storyboards this animated, or is it usually just stills?
It depends. I mean,
Bridget's a little crazy.
Yeah, Bridget's a little passionate, which we love. It depends on the kind of rhythm you want to go for, but it's one drawing every 12 frames is kind of the pace.
I think it's the most underappreciated skill in all of movie making is the animation story artist. I think it's like the very best of the best. There's less people who are that good than there are NBA players.
Yeah.
Like, it's really incredibly rare.
Because you are a cinematographer, you're an actor, you are action dance coordinator. When you're presenting this, you're like, this is what the movie should be.
Are you guys playing these storyboards for people at this point?
Oh yeah, we screened a full storyboard to a massive public audience, which is really scary.
Yeah.
Because sometimes some people are like, this is not a movie, guys, and so they just walked out.
If it's working like this, if you can get a theater full of people to sit there and feel something for 90 minutes at this stage, it's only going to get better from there, unless you screw it up and then the baby dies. Simultaneous to this, you're doing all your character designs, all of your set and location designs.
So everything is designed, and then it is modeled in CG, and then it is surfaced or colored. They paint every single thing that you see on screen with color and then texture.
I read that you had more costume changes for your characters in this film than any other animated film.
Yes, that is a fact.
That's pretty crazy.
I think for the record, we had 108 pieces of clothing built.
Wow.
For Rumi, we have 26 variations. And some of the variations are like same costume, but then she has the patterns, or like half the patterns, or like all of those are variations. But that's all things that we had to track.
One other thing that we didn't talk about is rigging.
Which is rigging.
It's the puppeteering. You have these beautiful models, but you have to give them bones, and then you have to plan how all of that moves and collides.
To be able to hit certain poses or exaggerated faces or expressions.
For example, the eyes. There's like rules about the eye shapes that are always followed no matter what to maintain a stylistic statement across all expressions. So certain points are preserved because those are structural, other ones have freedom to move around and be expressive, and you break any of those rules and that shot no longer looks like Zoe, and the whole illusion falls apart.
So how are you guys giving these 3D models anime-style expressions? Because when you're drawing, you can draw any shape you want, draw any perspective, you can mash perspectives together. But 3D animation it starts from a world of like 3D rules, and you have to somehow break those rules, which can be kind of impossible sometimes with how this stuff is programmed.
It's completely two-camera cheats.
When you say two-camera cheats, what do you mean by that?
If you rotate the camera around 90 degrees, it's terrifying. Yeah, it's like a horror show.
It's only just created for this shot.
So you're really just stacking the face shapes for the camera.
And the animator's often basically sculpting. ImageWorks has some amazing tools for that, and it comes from Hotel Transylvania movies with Gendy, which are very pose-to-pose, very drawings in 3D. So they have really great tools for that and some expertise.
Well, I'm glad you're finally ready to talk.
And this is a fun example of that, where Rumi kind of does like a double take, and it's like pushed and comedic. If you look at that like couple of frames where she's like double chinning in profile and doing the wide eyes.
Yeah, you got the double chin in there.
Yeah.
It's stylized, it's pushed and comedic, but if you don't get it, it could just suddenly feel like very uncanny, I guess.
We were inspired by 2D art and like anime, but we didn't want to go the real 2D route. We wanted to feel still CG. One, to kind of separate it from Spider-Verse. They do a lot of 2D elements because it's comic. They're staying loyal to what the medium was.
But also, the way the girls ended up using the more broad chibi stuff was for comedic stuff, lighter stuff, and that preserved real estate for the real emotion of the real struggle and heart and fear. Could stay in a more grounded place because the story just was kind of calling for both. So we needed a solve for that stuff that didn't break the 3D illusion and make you think about surface treatment of the frame. It just made you feel like it's a believable 3D reality. With all the girls, there's this duality. These women are beautiful, they're K-pop stars, they're glamorous, they belong on Vogue covers. But also, we want them like ugly crying and making weird faces because they're eating a kimbap and expressing themselves. It was awesome because a lot of the women animators are like, okay, finally. The female gaze is really funny.
That shirt opening.
This was the first sequence we animated. So everyone was, the whole crew for like a few months.
Because we're trying to get to know each other. Yeah. And they're like, what are we making? I think the studio was like, okay, you could do that, but at least, can we just not have any nips? Yeah. And we're like, okay. First review with ImageWorks, the shirt just completely opens, and we're like, good job.
We had a lot of nipple conversations too. Like, do we have the little nub thing, or is it just a flat color? We just don't want too much detail.
I do think they're a little too east and west.
They're like walleye. This was in every department. We're like, you guys are gonna make these guys like real hot. And then people would be like, okay. And then they'd do like a design or an animated shot, and it'd be like, we're like, oh, it's cute.
Yeah.
But no, it's got to be hot.
Yeah, not cute. We said hot.
Yeah. And you could see everybody awaken to that possibility.
Yeah. For me, it was just important because we don't see Asian men represented this way in Hollywood. And so I was like, Asian men are hot, and let's show people how hot they can be. But then you can't just do that. You subvert the hotness with the silly, relatable, human part of them.
I love when Ginu goes, choo-choo.
Yeah.
Teddy bears and choo-choo trains? Really? Choo-choo.
And also, when he slips
Oh yeah,
in
that's
the
one of my
bathhouse.
favorite moments.
Have fun.
There's so many other stupid jokes that didn't make it into the movie.
Yeah, it's littered with failed attempt. I mean, I love that in the middle of the climax at the end of the movie, Mira's getting popcorn eyes again and having to kill Abby. And so, like, keeping that stupid stuff alive. The jokes we love the most are the ones that make you laugh while also saying so stupid.
Yeah, you have little bits of absurdity. Trying to lift a cylindrical object with your paw to like flip it back. I guess a perfect example, like you guys are spending screen time on this, you know? And like you have the confidence to sit in it and be like, this is worth it.
Obviously, this is also inspired by the rake joke from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Do you think it's important to include animal characters in animated films?
No.
No?
I think it was organic and culturally specific.
The tiger is the national animal of Korea. There's this thing called chokodo, which is folk art of tigers, and they're always paired with a magpie. And they're always like
They're pretty ugly
wonky.
cute.
They're like wall-eyed and weird. And so we designed this derpy little character. But we didn't want to just put in a tiger and have it be like an animal sidekick. But we needed a way for Rumi and Chinu to communicate. So we used him as like a mailbox.
People love derpy.
Yeah.
So a lot of times there's like pressure, like put more derpy in the movie, and it's like, It's like saying, I love ketchup on my hamburger, but if you just cover the hamburger in ketchup, it's like, now you don't. Like, now you're sick of ketchup.
So you were saying that as the storyboards are being finished, all the 3D elements and assets are being designed, and then from here, are you guys jumping into animation, or are you
Layout.
No,
doing
layout.
Layout.
Which is where we work with the digital camera.
It's like you're converting the ideas of the storyboards into a 3D space.
So layout's almost like a 3D storyboard.
Yeah.
Have you guys done voice acting yet, or is that still off in the distance?
Probably still
No.
us at this point.
So you guys have to be a little bit decent at voice acting.
Oh yeah, very good.
Oh, we are in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
Yes, I have 3 roles. I am the flight attendant.
Yes, Miss Hunter X.
I am a crying demon. And then there's like a newscaster announcer.
Today's International Idol Awards have been canceled.
My mom was like, "Oh my gosh, that's you?" And I said, "Yes." She's like, "That doesn't sound like you at all." And I said, "Because it's such good acting."
Okay, so you have your storyboard that's moved into layout. You haven't had the actual voice actors in yet. Then what happens after that?
We start to animate.
You guys are nailing a lot of traditional animation essentials. You can really feel every single frame is like posed and composed and set up. We live in an age where we can do whatever frame rate we want, right?
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you guys are still sticking with 12?
Yeah, we went with 12 because there's a lot of like brisk action and it's better for landing contrast, like the slow and then quick like reactions and stuff. And also for the dancing and action scenes, it just gives it a more snappy feeling. I mean, we have amazing action scenes in the film, and I was very worried that those are going to be too difficult to execute, and they actually became like the easier things to execute, and the really dramatic scenes. These ones, we would try to get every single frame working, and it's all like eyebrows and bottom lids and how much the brows are furrowed.
This area, it's a whole world of stuff going on there.
And it could be like 2 pixels, but it makes
Really?
it makes the biggest difference because all of that, as a viewer, you take all that in.
There's a scene in The Dark Night of the Soul when Rumi goes to her surrogate mom, Celine, and they're talking, and Rumi is basically saying like, I am this part demon, I'm never gonna change. Can you just love me like this complete thing that I am? And Celine is basically trying to make her feel better and talk to her, and she reaches up to touch her cheek, and she has all her patterns out and they're glowing. And Celine just she can't actually do it. Yeah, it's like a mother who loves her child but's a little repulsed by them or, unable to really be affectionate. And we fiddled with that shot for a week or two to get that nuance into the performance and try to tell who these characters are without them necessarily just using dialogue.
What's the best tool for an animator if they want to capture that nuance of emotion?
Animators, the directors, we shoot reference in order to give like a real-time performance. So the entire movie exists also in these things, which we want to put a supercut together so we can watch it with our crew. It'd be amazing.
It's crazy how much the performance is actually just the physical performance.
Yeah.
There's something about animation and even drawing out poses, you have to like become the character. You have to act it out. You have to feel it in order to be able to translate that.
As you get into the animation process, when do you guys actually record voices?
We were animating to temp dialogue that we put in to work on the storyboard. It was just very difficult to cast because we were looking for an all-Korean cast and we needed everybody to have some fluency, if not be completely fluent in the Korean English.
Initially, we started with like, we're going to find 3 amazing Korean-American women who can act at the highest level and sing at a pop star level. And then after a couple years, we're like, okay.
And so it took us a really long time to cast, and we cast really late.
So then, we thought, okay, we're going to break it into 2. We found these really wonderful singers and also great actors. Usually you'd do like a 3-4 hour session, and it would always take like the end of the first session where we'd be like, okay, I know we've been asking you to be weird and you're being kind of weird, but like, we mean like weird. This is just you with like your roommates. Mei Hong, who does the voice of Mira, she had a line that she had to do with her mouth full, and Maggie had done the scratch, and it was like, and then Mei was like, okay, and we're like, Mei, and she's like, you want me to? Yeah. So she's like, bring in the snacks, and she like, I forget, she ate like 48 strawberries, and she's, we're like, yes, Mei. They did a lovely job of connecting to that character and bringing something personal to it. We had worked on Rumi and Mira and Zoe for years, but we knew them so well. By the time those 2 performances line up to each other, there's the continuity of really knowing who the fictional character is. What was so nice was you would see Zoe, which was Jeong, doing her scene, and then the song would break out and it would be Ray rapping, but there would be some emotional connection through all that, and it made it feel like it's just Zoe.
But because it's animation, you can't talk about acting without the animators because they are also the actors. We have all these like great moments where Zoe will say something, but then her eye darts from side to side, like just to get that approval from her like older sisters. And so there's little nuanced acting that the animators have added in that add to that character. Everything stacked on top of each other helps this character become a real person.
So you've animated the shots and you're recording the voice actors. Now what? Do you just render them out? Is there anything else that needs to happen?
The animation goes to CFX,
Character effects.
which is hair, clothing, secondary movements, which in our movie oftentimes were really important.
We had a lot of hair, a lot of cloths in. We think that we did the first French tuck in animation, which is Ginu, just a little shirt tuck in the front, party in the back.
Then it goes to lighting. So much of this movie has heightened color, so you have a lot of things that would be impossible in live action.
And then effects happen there, like the smoke, the whole moon.
The entire character of Kima. There's lots of comp work.
Interesting, yeah, because I always assume that, just like you hit render, once everything's done, of course, you hit render and this pops out of the computer. But in reality, there's still visual effects happening.
So a shot like this, every frame is essentially adjusted. I remember one of the hard things in the sequence was to actually get this pervasive green, stylish fog and have like the local color of their costumes and the girl's hair popping out. It just was borderline impossible. Literally, you just sit there and you go frame by frame and paint back in Mira's red hair cutting through the green. Any finished frame of animation that's heightened in terms of color and light means basically every pixel of the frame was touched by hand. It becomes essentially a moving painting.
How do you work on the same story for 6 years without it like just losing sense and meaning in your head?
You have to really be kind of crazy.
Yeah? All right.
I think the beginning times were kind of hard. And then I was like in the middle, I was like, am I still alive? And then the last, like, I don't know, a couple, 2-3 months, and then even the last week, I was like, oh my gosh.
Still trying to kill the baby.
We joked that this movie was a haunted house that wouldn't let us out. Because it just kept getting scarier and scarier, and you're like, I think I'm just gonna die here.
We had a few moments over the course of 6 years where, whether it was our own storytelling or studio notes, where things that we believed in got a little lost. Probably the hardest thing for us was there were a few times where we felt like, you know what, this version of this moment, we actually don't believe in it.
Yeah, we had a screening where I was like, do you like this movie? And he's like, no, like, I don't like this either. And the audience was like, it's fine. And so I think that's the screening where we both felt like, you know what, if people don't like it, at least we should like it. Like, we should be proud of what we're putting up, whether people like it or not.
Well, people clearly love this film. I mean, you guys won 2 Golden Globes, 1 for Best Animated Picture. It's one of the biggest movies of the past 10 years. You guys must be in the craziest whirlwinds of your lives right now. And that's gotta be amazing. And I hope you guys are savoring it and enjoying it.
Thank you.
It's amazing that you guys took the time to join me on this couch. It's not too often to get guests in here that my kids are jazzed about. And to all of you guys, see you next Saturday.